Krishna's son and daughter. You'll love all other living entities, even cats, dogs, animals, any creature, any plant. They also belong to Krishna. But without loving Krishna, without satisfying Krishna, Prabhupada said everyone wants to be happy, but we don't know how to be happy. We're trying to be happy separate from Krishna. But as much as we're trying, it's actually selfish. So if we're selfless, selfishly trying to enjoy, that's a sinful. That means sinful desire, sinful thought, sinful activities. So if we're selfish and we're thinking separate of Krishna, it means we're envious of Krishna, we're not accepting Krishna. We're competing with Krishna. Why? He's the supreme enjoyer. Why? What do you mean he owns everything? I have my own flat, I have my house, I have my land. Right? He's a well-wishing friend of everyone. No, I'm everybody's friend. I'm so friendly person because I love people. But that's Krishna's position. So Prabhupada said, you're trying to be happy, but without satisfying Krishna in devotional service, without actually pleasing him, Krishna will not be happy with us because we're not living up to what's expected of us. We're all eternal servants of Krishna. We're not serving. And even if we are serving, we're grumbling and complaining. Right? We're not joyfully doing, we're like, okay, I'm surrendered. Right? But Krishna says it has to be with a love and affection. If someone just serves you something and they like have no respect, no love, no affection, it's like disturbing. If somebody gives you and they have love and affection for you and respect for you, and they said, oh, I made for you, then you feel like, oh, this is nice. So Krishna is also person. He's supreme person. So Krishna says, if you offer me with the love and devotion, and Prabhupada says you have to have pure consciousness to offer with love and devotion. Without pure consciousness and faith in Krishna, how can we manifest spiritual quality of true love and devotion? Then Krishna says, even a leaf, a fruit, a flower, water, vegetable, you offer me with loving devotion, then I'll accept it. Otherwise not. And then Krishna says, if you try to approach me and understand me by your karma, your jnana, your yoga, I'll hide myself from you. Only if you come in a mood of bhakti, devotional service, then I'll reveal myself to you. So Krishna says, as you surrender to me, then I reveal myself to you accordingly. As you surrender to me with the love and devotion mood, then Krishna says, I'll reciprocate with you. Last night we were talking about pure devotee. They're getting reciprocation from Krishna because they have faith and because they're serving Krishna with loving devotion. Krishna says to Arjuna, because you're my devotee and you're not envious of me and you have love and affection towards me, then Krishna said, I'll explain everything to you. Everything of the material world, everything of the spiritual world. Nothing will be hidden from you. Because you're my friend. You consider me your friend. You have love and affection for me. You're trusting me. You're my devotee. You want to serve me. Not kicking and screaming, not grumbling and complaining, but happily doing. That's why Mahaprabhu said it's supposed to be joyfully performed. So that type of quality consciousness and quality seva, that is required. Otherwise we're offering, we're like, I don't even know if Krishna's God. Anyway, here it is, and hopefully, I don't know if you can see it, and if you're accepted. Right? They say you're God, I don't know, here, let's see if you eat anything, And then it's like nothing's missing, and it's like, oh, he didn't eat it, But it says in the Shastra, Krishna can eat it with his eyes. And Krishna doesn't need your service. He has hundreds, thousands, millions of goddesses of fortune and devotees. Everybody's serving with love and devotion. He doesn't need our service. We need to serve him. So he's saying, okay, here's my devotee. He'll give you some seva. Here's your start in bhakti. Learn how to do some service to my devotee. He's giving you some seva. He's going to offer it to me. Let's start there. My Gurudev used to say that without Guru Bhakti, there is no Krishna Bhakti. We can't see Krishna. We can see the Guru. Right? Without Krishna, without Guru Seva, really we cannot understand what is Krishna Seva. So we're learning to serve Krishna by serving Krishna's devotee. That's why Krishna accepts a Guru, Mahaprabhu accepts a Guru, all of the eternal associates of the Lord, they all accept the Guru. Because everyone is eternally servant. Even you go to the spiritual world, you're going to serve under someone. It's never just directly you and Krishna. Because Krishna has his favorites. Only he'll say, okay, then you serve under my favorites. Right? So we'll always be servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of Krishna. Not directly. Srila Prabhupada says if you try to offer to Krishna directly, where are you going? Are you escaping?
My friend.
Okay. Usually we have it in a room where we can lock the doors and the windows. This is more open, so I'm afraid to lose people. Like people can come and go, so now I'm nervous. So, what we saying? Yeah, so Prabhupada said that it's not that we're serving Krishna directly. Okay, first time you go to Krishna and say, Krishna, I want to serve you, I want to know you, I want to serve you, I want to understand how to develop love and affection for you. Okay. Krishna says, you want to know me in tattva? Then go surrender to my devotee. They'll help you to understand how to serve properly. How to purify your mind, your senses, how to develop faith, how to develop more understanding of the subtleties, the mood of how to do devotional service. That has to all be explained. Prabhupada said in the material world, everybody's serving, the worker's serving the boss, but he doesn't love the boss. He needs a job. And the boss, he's not really loving the worker. In most cases, he just needs that person to work hard so he can make money. So there's service and surrender, but it's exploitative. You scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. It's not unconditional. It's not based on love and affection. It's just like a business arrangement. So we don't really understand that. What is real relationship, which is based on service and surrender, which is unconditional. We're always expecting something, right? Even in India, you see, you want to surrender to Krishna. The mother, father said, no, Now you owe me. I raised you, I fed you, I took you when you were sick to the doctor, I paid for you to go to school, I gave you spending money while you were at school, whatever you needed, as best that we could, we provided everything for you. Now, you owe us. And if you don't do that, we will really make your life miserable. We'll put you on a guilt trip. You'll feel so guilty your whole life. How you betrayed your parents, how you betrayed your community. Right? So it's like they have a gun to your head. It's not based on love and affection. It's you owe me. So material world, all of this surrender and this service, it's all motivated, materially motivated. So we don't know what does it mean to be surrendered and serve with no expectation, with no demand. So we cannot serve Krishna and just be demanding something, right? Very conditional. Okay, Krishna, I'll surrender to you, but you better let me do everything I want. You should sanction my plan. You should take all of my sinful reactions. You should give me a nice wife or a nice husband, some children. I need some money. You have to give me a good job. Right? We're putting so much demand, so much conditions onto Krishna. I don't want to be disturbed. I want a peaceful mind. I want everything to line up nicely. I don't want to struggle. And if you do all of that, Krishna, then I'll surrender to you. So it's very conditional. We're trying to take our same conditional mentality, exploitative mentality, and we're trying to apply that also to Krishna. And then if everything doesn't go according to our plan and our desire and our wish list that we give to Krishna, then we're like, well, I don't know if I really want to surrender to Krishna. Because now this seems like it could be a little difficult. So it's very conditional. And even if we do surrender, we're doing it sometimes. Partial surrender. Okay, sometimes we're trying. Most times we're not. Because Prabhupada said we're addicted to mental speculation. Krishna says, only think about me. Keep me in your mind. But we're just busy all day speculating. We're in our own heads. Right, Deva? Deva, you live in your own head. It's like you're carrying this condominium around, you know? It's like the guy who travels and he has like a condo with him, you know? I just need a place to live when I'm traveling. And his head looks like one of these buildings, you know? 2 rooms. So we're living in the Hare Krishna. We're living in our own head. And we have a roommate. You didn't know you had a roommate. Maybe cockroaches. Could be there. But also Maya's there. Maya's actually in charge of that house. She's renting us a room. We think it's our house, right? It's my head. But actually it belongs to Maya. So we're living in Maya's house. She's in charge there. She'll tell you what to think, what's important, how to feel, how to be emotional this way or that way. She'll create the plan. She'll tell you what is good to think about, what isn't good to think about. She'll tell you when you hear the truth, you shouldn't listen to this. This is untruth. And then when you hear untruth, Maya will say, this is the truth. Oh yes. And then what's unreal, Maya will say, this is very real. You should take advantage of this. And what's real, Maya will say, this is unreal. That's what we're living with. What's up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. She completely twisting everything on purpose. That's where all the misunderstanding comes from. Why is everybody arguing? Because of so much misunderstanding. And everybody thinks they're right out of pride. So everybody can't be right if they're all saying opposite things. So Maya's just twisting everything around. And we're caught in the middle of that. And we're saying, oh, it's my head, it's my thoughts, it's my feelings, it's my emotion. And whatever I'm thinking, feeling, I have to do, or I can't do. So sometimes, like Krishna told Arjuna, you kill family member, don't worry, I'm going to bring them back anyway. But then Arjuna thinking, how can I do like this? This will put me into big difficulty. It doesn't feel good, it doesn't feel right. Socially it's not right, scripturally it's not right. Right, he was becoming so weak. Weakness of the heart. Because Maya, as Krishna says, Maya has captured your intelligence, your mind, and your senses. If Krishna is Krishna's controller of mind, intelligence, and senses, we're like, well, be careful, we're going to get brainwashed. Then we're fearful there. Let Krishna control your mind, intelligence, and senses, and we're like, oh, this is dangerous. We should be careful. Right? But if Maya is controlling intelligence, mind, and senses, this is natural. This is who I am. This is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm feeling. This is my emotional state. So Prabhupada said that 99% of the people, all they know is their body and their mind. And most people, they don't even understand their mind. Because it's very subtle, very confusing. That's why they go to a psychiatrist, psychologist. Maybe he can figure it out. And you ever see the psychiatrist, psychologist, they're more crazy than anybody. Why do you think they got into that business? They're trying to figure out how to deal with their own crazy mind. Then they're like, okay, I sort of have it worked out, you know, after all of these years of depression and anxiety and drugs and anxiety medicine and antidepressant medicine, I finally found some equilibrium. Now, I think I can make money doing this for somebody else, right? So we bring in our mind, which is basically like a demon, and torturing us. We're living with the, Krishna says your mind could be your best friend or your worst enemy, right? So we're living with the, what is it? The chainsaw massacre, right? We're living with the serial killer, right? The mind is like living with the serial killer. Any second, he can finish you out. Do this, do that, do that. Oh, okay. So the whole trouble is the mind. All of yoga is how to purify and control your mind. How to make it your friend instead of your enemy. Why are they going to psychiatrists, psychologists? Because their mind is torturing them, no peace, no happiness. And then you go to these guys who are the biggest cheaters also. They say, no, your problem is you just feel guilty about your sinful activities. Right? If you could do all your sinful activities and not feel guilty about it, that's why you're suffering. So we'll help you how to deal with your guilt or your shame. So if you don't feel any shame and you don't feel any guilt, then you can do sinful activities happily. Oh, that's $200 an hour because you want to get rid of the guilt and the shame? Okay, 100, that's 200 an hour. They're cheating like anything. So Prabhupada explained real yoga means to connect your soul to the super soul, Paramatma, Chetu Guru, and to take dictation from Chetu Guru, from Krishna. Because if we're a servant, Krishna is telling, this is how you can serve me. So if we can understand that we are servant of Krishna, eternal servant of Krishna, and we're looking and asking Krishna, how can I serve you properly? And we can hear Krishna's instruction, that's perfect yoga. And Krishna says, out of all the yogis, bhakti yoga, that's topmost yoga. That's perfection. That book is there, right? Perfection of Yoga. That's one of the books you're distributing, Perfection of Yoga. So are you a yogi? Colombia, are you a yogi? Huh?
I'm still doing.
You're doing? You're a yogi? You're a yogi? Are you a bhakti yogi?
Not yet.
Not yet? You're just moving your body around? Like gymnasium? Prabhupada laughing about the yoga in the Kali Yuga, right? What yoga you can do in Kali Yuga? The point of the yoga, how to purify your mind and senses so you can realize your soul and realize Supreme Soul, Paramatma, Krishna. Krishna says, I'm in everyone's heart. So if your yoga is not making you to realize Krishna and to surrender to Krishna, then what is the meaning of that yoga? What is your motivation for doing that yoga? Prabhupada said you want good, strong body. You want the girls to like you, be attracted to you. Oh, you have good body. Right? Oh, the boys like me now, I have good body. Then Prabhupada said, then you have better sex life. So what is motivation for yoga? Tell me. You do yoga, right? Oh, I don't know. I didn't know that. Nobody told me that. Is that true? Acha. So why are you doing yoga? What is your motivation? Because everything we do, we should be thoughtful. Prabhupada said this is for thoughtful people. So what are we doing? Why are we doing? What is the purpose? And who are we trying to please? That's the only question. So what are we doing? Why are we doing? What is motivation? And who are we trying to please by that? Do you have all of those answers? And Krishna says, have? So Krishna says, Prabhupada said, whatever you do that is not for Krishna's pleasure, that is sinful activity. More or less, grossly or subtly. If we're being selfish and we're trying to enjoy separate from Krishna, that means sinful. So we're trying to light the fire of bhakti, Krishna bhakti, by doing asatsanga and those activities which are actually sinful, gross or subtle. It's like pouring water on the fire. That's why we're not advancing. So Guru and Krishna trying to light the fire, and then we're just, okay, that's nice, and then we're going and just dousing ourselves with a bucket of cold water. We're trying to purify by Shravanam, Kirtanam, hearing, chanting, austerities, sadhana. We're trying to purify contamination, filth. And it's compared to like an elephant. Right? The elephant goes in the water and does so many things to clean themselves, right? They're cleaning themselves, nicely spraying the water, get all the dirt off of them. Then they go up on the beach and then they just roll in the dirt. It's like bathing of an elephant. So we're trying to purify and cleanse, and then we're walking out and just completely contaminating and getting filthy, dirty again by committing sinful activities, because it's not what Krishna wants us to do. Means we're disobeying Krishna. We're disregarding Krishna. So how we can advance in bhakti at the same time? That's why Krishna says, if you really want me, then you have to really surrender to me. If you really surrender to me, then I'll give you intelligence, how to know me, how to come to me, how to properly serve me, how to go back home with me. But Krishna says that Savadhaman Vidyaja Mama Kam Sharanam Braja, abandon all other so-called pious religious activities, processes, including karma, jnana, yoga, and just surrender unto me. We're not following that. We're maintaining material desire, material attachment, even after hearing all of the instruction. So we're disobeying. Then how we can expect that Krishna will reveal himself, give us proper intelligence, faith, understanding how to progress on path of bhakti? This is a problem. One time we were at the Guru's, I was at a Guru seminar, how to become a Guru in ISKCON. In 3 easy steps. They gave out certificate at the end. And then when you look at the certificate, they misspelled spiritual. Honest to God. They misspelled spiritual. They had to send out the certificates to get them spelled properly. So one of the Maharaj, he was saying, oh, okay, if you want to be sannyasi, you want to be guru, like what are some things that are not good that you should give up? This is the question. And people said, oh, you know, lady association, and this and this and that, many things, right? Then I raised my hand, and the Maharaj said, yes? What is detrimental to bhakti? What is detrimental for sannyasi guru? That was the question. What you should give up? And I said, Maharaj, we should give up yoga and jhana. And that man almost fell down on the ground because his yoga teacher, and he's a jnani, and he's teaching cooking lessons for money, right? He's doing Ayurvedic treatments for money, right? So everyone giving all the typical answers you would expect, you know. And then I know him. So I said, I'm going to give some special mercy to Maharaj today. This is his lucky day that he has someone who will speak very boldly and honestly and friendly to him. So he was just very puffed up, big jnani, big yogi. He's just directing the class. They don't know who am I. I was just sitting there waiting. Then he said, yes. I said, Maharaj, we should give up yoga and jnana because detrimental to bhakti. And he was like, it was like I punched him in the face, you know. I hit him like with the right and then the left. And then he was like, he was wobbling, you know. He was trying to stay on his feet, you know. And he was trying to like regain his like composure, you know. It's like, okay. Very good, Murali. Very good. And then he couldn't like spell yoga. You're supposed to write everything on there, you know. He's so nervous. He's like, yoga, he's just spelling yoga, you know. Only 4 letters, you know. Big jnani can't spell yoga. He's so nervous. Yoga. And then he's thinking, I got a class this afternoon, I gotta make money, you know. It's like, I gotta write yoga now? It's like, I hope nobody sees me writing this, you know. G-O-Y-A, Goya, Goya. Oh, Krishna. Yeah, that was fun. That was really fun. And then what happened was, how do you give a yoga seminar for 3 days and never mention anything from Prabhupada's books or teachings? That was the most mind-blowing thing to me. You want somebody to be groomed, to be trained, to understand what it means to be a guru, in ISKCON especially, and you never quote anything from Srila Prabhupada's books and teachings? Really? And then they're teaching, yeah, first we're going to teach you how to hear somebody's problems with compassion. So what kind of guru you have to train him how to hear somebody's problem. Right? They call empathetic hearing. So this is the kind of guru you're training, that you have to train them how to empathetically hear somebody? Isn't Vaishnava Paraduka Duki? Aren't they unhappy seeing the unhappiness of other living entity? Don't they already know this person is suffering? Let me try to help this person. I can't help them if I don't understand them. That's not something that you have to train a guru to understand, because he automatically understands it. Right? Then they're teaching about psychology. One of the psychology teachers, they don't know what kind of student I am, you know. I studied these things for so many years. Then I'm acting like I don't know anything about psychology. So the psychologist is trying to train us how to be psychologists. So then I heard that man, that devotee, he spoke in the beginning of the seminar. Something really disturbed him. And I marked it. Then later, when we were doing one-on-one psychology practice, then I have to act like psychologist with that psychologist, devotee psychologist. So then I remembered he has a serious problem. So I said, well, Prabhu, it's like when you're doing this thing and nobody's understanding you, and they're opposing you, and they're trying to shut you down. And I exactly told him what his problem was. And he was like looking at me like a shock. And I said, so let's go a little bit deeper, Prabhu. Why are you feeling that way? So this guy was like, you know, I'm supposed to be training this guy, and I'm lying on his couch instead of him lying on my couch. Right? Isn't it on the psychiatrists, they say, okay, lie on the couch and just tell me all your problems? Anyway, there was nothing spiritual about that seminar. Really. It was all Gyan, it was all psychology, counseling, empathetic hearing, conflict resolution, past life regression, so many topics. And it was so contaminated that I used to come on the lunch break, and I used to take a bath in the Ganga just to purify myself from all of this great association and discussions, you know? Instead of coming back and feeling like purified and liberated and ecstatic, I was like crawling home, like to the Ganga, you know? Just to dive in. And just pray, Mother Ganga, please purify me from this association with the gurus, you know? Like, I mean, isn't the gurus supposed to like purify you? Right? By their katha and their explanation and their Krishna consciousness, and isn't that supposed to be like enlightening and purifying, and right? What does it say when they don't know how to spell spiritual? And they can't write yoga with a hand that's not shaking, and then you have to bathe in the lunch break. I couldn't even eat, I had to go take a bath first. I felt so contaminated by the association, I was afraid to make offense to the prasad. Then I come back from the bath, I said, okay, I feel like 50% better, you know? And then I take some prasad, you know, Jagannath Krishna prasad. I'm like, Krishna, please purify me. I gotta go back to the afternoon session, you know. I don't think I can handle it, you know. And then somehow I got purified like just enough to go back to the afternoon session, you know, to get some more association of the pure devotees. I don't know why they don't love me. Do you see any reason why they wouldn't like me? Mataji? Why don't they love me? Why don't they like me?
You speak the truth.
It's an unpalatable truth, isn't it? Then I tried to go to China for preaching. Then many devotees, the Chinese people are very, very simple. Very simple-hearted people. Because to advance in spiritual life, the real requirement is simplicity. If you're simple, even you don't know anything, but if you are simple-hearted and you hear from Krishna and Krishna's pure devotee, immediately you can catch it and understand it. If you're simple-hearted. So I'm very fortunate because I preach in Russia and China. And those people are very simple, simple-hearted people. So as soon as you present Krishna, absolute truth, they immediately take it, they immediately like it. They're like a sponge. They can sit there for 8 hours and not even move 1 second. And it's like not enough. They're so thirsty and greedy. You cannot do that if you're not simple. Your mind will be like, oh, get me out of here. This is about all I can handle. That's why they give it. I remember I was hearing one Gyani, one of my godbrothers. He's a big Gyani. So he was giving a class. And I was listening, and it was like, first I saw him, I said, he looks really nice, he dressed nice, he looks like a nice person. Then he starts talking, and I'm like, what's happening to me? Why is it so painful, you know? Then he's talking more and more, you know, then it's like, oh my God, this is so painful. I was like, I gotta get out of here, you know? I was like plotting my escape. I was like looking out the windows, what floor is this on? Where's the nearest exit sign? Are there any sheets I can tie together if it's too high up? I mean, I was calculating like how to get out of there. And it was like so painful, you know? And he's just more gyan. I was up to here with the gyan, you know? And the pratista, and the false ego, and the I great, you know. You might as well just bring out your own drum, you know. This is how great I am. And I didn't want to play anymore, you know. I didn't want to be part of the drama. I wanted out of the drama. So then I'm like, Krishna, please, you know, it's so painful, you know. And then finally, I was like, okay. And then he says, okay, I'm about to finish the class. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Thank God. And he said, but I just have 3 more stories to tell you. Like, if he had said 1 story, I would have been like, okay, 1 more story, you know? 1 more story. Okay, 1 more story. Right? But I was already at the end of my rope, you know? And then he says, I just have 3 more stories to tell you. I was like, that's it. That's it. I can't take it anymore. And I just got out of the class and I ran out of the hall. I was like, where's the Ganges? You know, I gotta go purify myself. That was crazy. And he's telling me, this is food for your soul. This is poison. This is not food for my soul. I don't feel like, you know, happy. I feel like killing myself right now. I feel like jumping off the building. Right? So I was like, what's going on here? Right? He's just, apparently it looks like he's giving the class and giving the Bhagavatam class. Right? Externally, that's what it looks like. He's a devotee, he's got tilak, he's got dhoti, he got some tail. He opening the book, he reading the shloka. Right? So everything so far was alright till he started to speak. Then I heard this same person later, years later. I was in one temple and I was near the pujari, and all of a sudden I heard this vibration. It was like Kana! Kana! And I was like, oh my God! What is that sound? That is so painful. Who is making such a horrible noise? I had to go search it out, like, who on this planet can make such a horrible noise like that? And it was that same devotee giving a class on Krishna Lila. Kana! One of Krishna's name is Kana, right? Shouldn't it be like sweet? It was like, you know, and I'm not trying to offend him, it's just the truth. That means something's wrong. Prabhupada said the speaker must be qualified and empowered. And the hearer also has to be qualified. If the speaker's qualified and the hearer is qualified, then you can be impregnated with Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we're wasting our time. It's all on false ego platform, emotional, sentimental platform. There's nothing spiritual about it. That's why there's no spiritual effect. Is it? Then you have Mataji for 30, 40, 50 years chanting 64 rounds a day. Right? And she's going and catching another guy, you know. Pull one in. Throw him in the boat. You're not happy, Deva? You don't like all of this conversation? Are you still living in that house? Are you living in Maya's house? Is she giving you all nice, edifying, and purifying, and inspiring advice?
No.
No? She giving you bad advice? Is she making you think bad things, Deva? Do you want to kill the speaker right about now? You don't want to kill me, right? It's not that bad? Okay. I'm safe, at least for a few more minutes. Make sure he doesn't prepare my plate, though. I don't know right now. He needs, sometimes, you know, when someone's like crazy, right, they have to lock him up for his own protection. Right, so we have to lock him up so he doesn't hurt himself or anybody else. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yes, sir. So, why you're not happy? I told you, you have to be happy. This is the deal here. Do you want to be happy?
Yes.
Okay, then at least that's there. So, why you're not happy?
I'm not hearing Krishna.
Huh?
Hearing Maya.
I'm not hearing Krishna, I'm hearing Maya.
So why don't you go back to New York then? There's plenty of Maya there. If you're in Holy Dham, and you're in Maya, and you want Maya, then what is your business here? It means you're not serious. So just go back to New York, live your life. No problem. I'm not forcing you to stay here, am I? So if you're not happy, go do something else. Do you think somebody else can help you?
No.
No? If someone else can help you, go to somebody else. You don't have to stay with me. You don't have to stay here. Nobody forcing you. Spiritual life, you cannot force anybody. You don't want to hear it, you don't understand it, you're not listening, you're just in your own head. Prabhupada says you are condemned by the material energy. You're doing hard time now. Solitary confinement. Shut the door. And you're happy with that, right? That means not serious. Right? Doesn't Prabhupada say you have to be sincere and serious? How can I learn to surrender to Krishna? So if we're not really sincere and serious to learn how to surrender to Krishna, then what is the point of all of this? Then just wasting time. You're wasting your time, you're wasting my time. Then you want to just remain like crazy fellow, nobody can help you. Even Krishna came, if Krishna came himself and tried to preach to you right now, you wouldn't even be able to hear Krishna. Even Krishna couldn't preach to you right now in that consciousness. Krishna says, because you're bewildered by your false ego, you cannot hear me. Does anyone else have, yogi, you're a yogi, you have any questions now? Do you know what you're supposed to do? Are you ready to surrender? Are you ready to give up your sense gratification? Are you ready to give up your chasing gyan? Do you want bhakti? Or do you want yoga and gyan? Do you want the spiritual reciprocation from Krishna? Or do you just want your sense gratification? One time I was with one devotee, he's like yogi. And we were one place and he was going like this. And I was looking at him and I'm saying, what is this guy doing, you know? You know, it's kind of like somebody who did a lot of cocaine, you know? They're like, right? But I know he's a devotee, so he's not snorting coke, so he's trying to say something. Then I asked him, like, what are you tasting, you know? What are you trying to taste? And he said, prana. Prana. There's like Colombian, Mexican, prana. It's like a drug, you know? It's like a drug addict, you know, with prana. It's like the mode of goodness drug addict. Pious drug addict. Just like, This is so tasty. I thought he had a bag of peanuts or something. I didn't understand what it was. You know, I was like little simple, like little confused. I thought it was some peanuts or something. But it was prana. Are you tasting prana? No, you're not a good yogi then. This is a very unique class, isn't it? Is this like a typical class that you would hear normally? No? I do it on purpose, just to see if you can handle it. Just to see if you can understand it. New York, you understanding? Yeah.
Try.
The truth will set you free. That saying is there, right? The truth will set you free. If you're with Krishna, Krishna means tattva, means truth. Then you'll be able to speak the truth and relish the truth. We're supposed to be truth seekers. That's what devotee means, truth seekers. But in beginning, sometimes the truth is unpalatable. It doesn't taste good. Sometimes it's even a little bitter. For conditioned soul, the truth is a little bitter, a little painful. When I first met my Gurudev, he, like practically first thing he said is, you're deaf, dumb and blind. How do you meet someone and the first thing he says is, you're deaf, dumb and blind spiritually? I was like, Haribo Maharaj. He just immediately speaks the truth. You're deaf, dumb and blind. Wow. All right. I didn't understand it, you know. Then he kept talking and preaching, and I was like, wow, I really am deaf, dumb and blind. I have no idea what is he talking about. Then he asked me a question. What is the answer to that question, Murali? And I said, I'm deaf. And he started laughing like anything. He said, yeah, now this boy understands it, you know. I admit it. First what do you mean I'm deaf? I hear what you're saying. What do you mean I'm blind? I can see you. What do you mean I'm dumb? I'm not here by mistake. So I had a lot of pride. You know, I thought very highly of myself. Then after a while, he kept preaching, and I started like, first I was like this, let's see what this Maharaj is. Then as he kept talking, I started like going like this. At one point, I thought I was laying on the floor, you know. I remember thinking, first I was like this. By the end, I was like Dandavat Pranams, you know. And I never met anybody who could be laughingly humbling me out at the same time. And I never met anybody that I would allow to do that. And he's the only person who could do that. Then he asked me, he said, what is your name? And I said, Murali Krishna Das. So he said, oh, that's a nice name. So that means that you were the Das of Murali Krishna? Then he started laughing. He said, why don't you become a real Das and stop pretending that you're Das? I was like, whoa. I have my family, my friends, I'm like so-called senior preacher, right? And Maharaj said, why don't you become real devotee? instead of just posing like you're devoted. So it's like a spear. He hit me in my chest. It was so heavy. Because a guru means heavy. His words are not light. Even he's joking, still it's hitting you very deeply. Because there's meaning to that, to what he's telling. And we used to say, Gurudev doing open heart surgery on us, but his humor is like like anesthesia. So we would be laughing the whole time, and then we're like, okay, the class is over. Then you're walking out, and you're like, oh my God, what just happened to me? Right? Then I'm like, okay, I gotta get out of this building right now. I feel like I just had open heart surgery, but I never felt it because we were laughing the whole time. So he was so expert. Krishna made him so expert. He making you happy, laughing. Even he would laugh, sometimes so hard, he couldn't stop laughing. And then we were laughing at him laughing. I never saw anyone laughing at his own jokes like that. He would just realize what Krishna made him say, and then he would start cracking up. He would just start laughing, you know? And we were like, he's laughing at his own jokes, like uncontrollably. You know, if someone tells a joke and you're laughing, right? You can go on, you know, like uncontrollably laugh. That's so funny. But he telling his own joke and laughing at own joke. And then we're laughing because he's laughing. And then you walk out of the class and say, oh my God, what just happened to me? It's so like penetrating, so heavy, so confronting, challenging you, right? Usually we don't want guru like that. Oh, I have a guru, you know, he pats you on the head, gives you a garland and a cookie. Oh, you got the mercy from Maharaj. Okay, chill. I'm busy. And then they're shuffling you out. You're like, but Maharaj, I had a question. I had a doubt. And I still have that doubt. Maharaj. And they're like, you got a cookie, you got a garland, go. You got the mercy. Chalo. Yeah, but I still have a question. I still have a doubt. He's a big preacher, he has no time for you. All right, move. Okay, chalo. We get other special souls who need mercy, you know? And I'm like, well, how many cookies you got? How many garlands you got? So this is very, very politically incorrect to say like this. Isn't it? So I had no intention to come here and say all of these things. I didn't make a plan. I thought I was just going to come and say hello and take prasad. But anyway, you set me up with this class, impromptu. And then you brought some new souls to come and meet MK Swami. One Maharaj, he said to me, he said, oh, the famous Murali Krishna Swami. And I said, no Maharaj, infamous, not famous. So if you want a guru who doesn't challenge you, he doesn't confront you in your maya, in your false ego, he doesn't try to put you under discipline and purify you, there's plenty of those gurus. They won't bother you, they'll not tell you anything. I had one devotee, he said that every year the Maharaj will come to the country and then he would, this devotee would give the Maharaj a good amount of money, donation. And the Maharaj would say, you know, thank you very much. What is your name? And he'd tell his name. And he said, you know, who is your guru? And he would say, well, you're my guru. So he was, so he would say, this is my name and you're my guru. So then the Maharaj was like, oh yeah, thank you very much for the donation, you know. Chalo, give him a cookie, give him a garland. So then, the next year would come, and then he'd come again with a nice donation to give to Maharaj. And then Maharaj would say, oh, thank you very much for helping me in the preaching mission. And then he would say, you know, what's your name? And he'd say, like, so-and-so Das, you know, who's your guru? And he said, well, you're my guru. Oh yeah, yes, of course, yes. Nice to see you again. Thank you for the donation. Give him a cookie and a garland. Chill. Then he's like walking out, like, wow, what's happening here? So now the third year is coming, and he's saying, there's no way he can do this 3 years in a row. It would be impossible that he can do that 3 years in a row. So he says, okay, here we go. Then he goes up to the Maharaj, gives him a big donation, and then he's looking at the Maharaj, and the Maharaj is like very happy and says, thank you for the donation. And then he's like waiting, and then the Maharaj says, what's your name? And he says, you know, so-and-so Das, you know, and then he's like, the devotee's telling me, he's like, I'm saying, please don't ask me who is my guru, you know. And then he says, Maharaj says, who's your guru? And he said, that was it. Then I just realized this is like a joke. This is like a sad joke. So, if you want guru who just wants to be worshipped and wants money and doesn't tell you anything, doesn't really try to help you, there's plenty of people like that. Plenty of people. They'll not bother you, they'll not confront you. What are you doing? Oh, okay, very nice, okay, yeah, chalo. Isn't it? Mataji?
Yes, plenty of those.
It's getting dark. I hope that's not a sign. I hope Indra isn't going to come and like send some lightning bolts because of Maharaj speaking, you know? Everyone's like, we were all right before we started listening to this person, you know? Then everyone's like saying, look, I wasn't part of it. I wasn't part of it. I was like an innocent bystander, you know? I just walked by, someone invited me, I was just sitting there. It seemed funny, you know? Something different, not even esoteric. I can't even describe it as esoteric. I'm like the anti-esoteric. What are you tasting now? Prana? I just caught him. He was tasting prana. I reminded him there's something to taste. He had forgot. Now I feel responsible. Please excuse me. So, I don't know if you're going to understand anything I just said. I hope you do. Because we're a little bit joking, but there's a lot of truth, even within the joke. A lot of tattva, a lot of philosophy is there. If you're interested, you come back, we'll unpack everything for you. If you want just some excuse to escape, I also gave you that. You have every right to also say, okay, this guy's crazy, this is politically incorrect, this is too much, this is not traditional class. You have all the excuses in your hand why you shouldn't come back. And if you want to use them, we won't say anything. If you're a little bit interested, what is happening here? And how do I understand what's happening here? Then come back. And we'll be happy to explain it to you. All right, any last thing before I free you? Yes? Before I set you free? Yes? Yogi. In his microphone.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Well, my question is in relation to the point of why we are chanting 64 rounds, we are not getting the results.
Why what?
Why we are chanting 64 rounds, but we are not getting the results?
Because you're not chanting even one round. You're not even chanting one bead properly. What to speak of 64 rounds? Right? If there's no pure consciousness and there's no pure motivation, this is good, right? Rain is a very auspicious. That means the demigods are happy with us. If lightning bolts come, then we question it. Yeah. Then we can question it. But until the lightning bolts are hitting this building, we'll take the rain as auspicious. So far, so good. Everyone's like, I wonder if the lightning bolts are gonna come, you know? It's okay, so far we're good, there's no lightning bolts. It's auspicious, the demigods are happy. One time, I'll tell you a quick story. One time I was in Padayatra with Srila Govinda Swami, and we were in this remote village in Orissa, and it hadn't rained for like years there. It was so dry. Everybody was complaining how there's no water, there's no rain, the crops, nothing can grow. Everyone was depressed. So Maharaj came and he spoke for a few hours. And then after the class, we went in the car. And I was in the car with Maharaj, a couple other devotees. And all of a sudden, it starts raining like anything, but just on the car. The rain was coming just on that vehicle, my right-hand car. I tell you. And I'm looking around, I'm like, how is this possible? That rain is coming just on Maharaj's vehicle. And then when we said, Gurudev, how is this happening like this? And Gurudev was laughing. Then we went back to the place, right? And then the whole area, complete rainfall. And all the people were like, Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much. All the rain came, all the farmers, everybody was so happy. Because Krishna happy, demigods happy, everybody was happy. All the people were happy, everyone became happy. It's a true story. And I was like, is this really happening? All right, I'm not on drugs, so that can't do that. We don't do drugs anymore. Okay, that's not drugs. Okay, let's eliminate that part. Could this possibly be a mystical, spiritual experience that you happen to just be participating in by the mercy of Premi Bhakta, Krishna? Some miracle. Sometimes we need to see some miracle. just to become believer. So what were you saying?
You were saying that we are not chanting the proper consciousness.
First of all, if you don't get a guru who is sent by Krishna, he cannot give you holy name. That mantra, those beads he's giving you, will have no potency. So first of all, Prabhupada says you have to catch up disciplic succession parampara from Krishna parampara. Must be bona fide, authorized, empowered, in parampara. That means Krishna will agree to manifest in the katha, Hari Katha, Krishna Katha, Krishna Nam. Then that vibration from bona fide Guru will purify your consciousness. And it will free you from mental speculation. Then in pure consciousness by Shravanam, hearing Krishna from bona fide Guru, then you can chant. That's why Prabhupada says Shravanam is first most important aspect of devotional service. And without nicely doing Shravanam from bona fide source, authorized source, you cannot do the other ninefold processes of bhakti properly. So if we don't do nice Shravanam, means we don't get mercy from Krishna or Guru or Shastra, no purification of consciousness, mind and senses, then what chanting will you do? First Shravanam. This was like revolutionary when I heard this. Because we were told just chant Hare Krishna. But what did Prabhupada do? He chanted. Prabhupada said, I chant Hare Krishna and you're listening. Then you get purified and you chant Hare Krishna and then I'm listening. So first Shravanam from proper source, bona fide, authorized, empowered representative of Krishna and Mahaprabhu is absolutely essential. Otherwise, Krishna, we read last night, Krishna will not manifest or speak there. That means that class and that so-called katha and so-called nam, Krishna is not present. That's why there's no good effect. So you can chant for 164 rounds, but if Krishna is not agreeing to manifest, you'll just burn a hole in your finger and never give up your mental speculation. And never come off of the false ego platform. Because the process of purification by the mercy of Krishna and bona fide Guru through Shravanam, we didn't even do that first. So what kirtan will you do? If we don't hear nicely, we have no purification of consciousness, no freedom from the strength of our sinful desires and material attachment, no faith in Krishna, not sufficient faith that the holy name is not different from Krishna. So without hearing and getting those effects and realizations, how can you chant properly? It'll be offensive chanting. And my Gurudev used to say, even if you can give up somehow all the offenses in chanting, the one offense that you're not giving up is inattention. If you're inattentive while chanting, that's nam aparad. So without Gurudev's mercy, Krishna's mercy, how will you get free from the addiction of mental speculation? Your mental speculation will take you all over the universe while you're chanting. You'll be in every country, every household, every bar room, every yoga studio. You'll be, that's why after chanting you're exhausted, because you just traveled all over the whole world. I was in Montreal, then I went here, then I went there, then I was in Brazil, then I went to Colombia, I was in Puerto Rico, Nepal. Right, they come back exhausted. I'm like, why am I so tired? Because you traveled though, you were busy for 2 hours, traveling all over the place. By the mental speculation. And then we're just pulling beads. I always make a joke, it's like, you go to sit down to chant, right? And it's like an engine, you start the engine. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Right? So okay, the body's there, the engine's running, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Okay, that's fine. And then we just take off, right? We travel all over the world. And then we come back into the temple room. Where's my body? And then the body's sitting there. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Then we jump back in. And it's like, wow, I chanted 16 rounds. That's fantastic. Oh, chanted my rounds today. I did Dharma. I did my Dharma. Sound familiar? That's why you're laughing. Right? We're speculating a plan. Maya's making us speculate a plan which is destined to fail. And then we're trying to troubleshoot the plan with what happens, like a contingency plan. What happens when all these things start going wrong? What will we do then? So we're chanting, Maya's creating a plan which is absolutely going to fail, and then we're doing like an assessment of how we can deal with the problems and the difficulties and the negative results that come by following Maya's plan. All the while we're pulling beads and saying, yes, I'm chanting. So Maya's creating the problem, and then we're fearful and trying to deal with potential problems because we're in complete anxiety about the problems, and the whole thing is an illusion. It has no basis in reality, but we're taking it as real. So we're emotionally disturbed, we're mentally disturbed, because we're projecting into the future a plan which is completely coming from Maya, which completely put you in anxiety, and now you're troubleshooting the potential problems which will come. All the while you're chanting Hare Krishna. Where will I live? How will I do? You know, my parents are like this, then I get this job, and then what about the COVID, and then what about the government, and what about this, and what about that, and I need money, I have a health problem, what about the children, what about my mother, what about my father, what about my wife? And then we're like, I chanted. I chanted. I looked at my beads, all the beads were pulled. It says I chanted. Right, David?
Exactly.
Right? And then you think back and you're like, I don't even remember chanting. I don't even remember, like I remember starting off. I remember starting off. I remember in the beginning, I prayed to Lord Chaitanya, and I remember like maybe the first round. Not round of beads, like the first bead. I was like, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. I didn't even finish the first. I got through like maybe like 6 or 8 names, right? And I just took off. I started the engine, took off, solved the world's problems, and then I floated back in just in time for the Bhagavatam class. And then we're in the Bhagavatam class, right? And we're like, okay, my body's here. I have the book. Okay. All right, I'll be back in a while, guys. You know, and then we just take off again. Right? Then we're like all over, like Superman. You know, we're just like flying all over. You know, superhero. Because we have very high impression of ourselves, right? So we're superheroes. We're going. We're saving everybody. Then we fly back in, we're like, and they're like, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki! Like, wow, okay. Now I went to class. And then someone says, well, it's Prashadam time. It's like, yeah, let's go, Prashad, I'm present there. I'll be totally attentive during that period of time. Prashad, mercy, mercy, mercy. Then go sleep for about 3-4 hours. Right? So gone there, you know. What a wonderful day of sadhana, you know. This is fantastic, you know. And they were like, this process just doesn't work, you know. It just doesn't work. I think there's something wrong with this guru, you know. It's everyone else's fault. I'm so sincere because I actually remembered going to the class today. And I chanted. I did everything. I haven't had a day off in 13 years. And the most amazing thing is we believe it. We totally believe it. And then I say, okay, I'm talking to my, I say, let's just say that's true. That you did all of these things, that you couldn't do one more thing better. And you just went 13 years without a day off. Of course, I would say, you know, you haven't done devotional service for 13 minutes. But anyway, that's another topic. Haven't had a day off in 13 years. And I said, okay, if that's really true, that you're so sincere, you're so surrendered, you're doing all the sadhana, you're following everything to the very best of your ability, are you happy with your results? Is Krishna revealing himself to you? Is he reciprocating with you? Are you getting a higher spiritual taste? That you're willing to give up the lower taste? No. It's why. And then we're trying to figure it out. Say, okay, why is this not working? All right, I'm sincere, surrendered, special. So it's not me. Okay, I'm all set. All right. I figured out I'm all right. Now, let me go outside and say, okay, whose fault is this? It's my family, it's my mother, it's my father, it's my wife, husband, child. It's the environment. It's the temple. It's just association. It's that guru. It doesn't work. What? Everyone but us. No, Maharaj, I have a video. You can see my body chanting in the temple room today. Yeah, I saw your body there. What about your soul? Where was your soul? Oh, Maharaj, I was in the Bhagavatam class. Someone took a picture. You see, I'm sitting right behind. Yes, your body's there, but where was your mind? Where was your soul? What were you thinking about? Were you listening to Krishna? Were you hearing Krishna? Was Krishna manifesting in holy name? Was Krishna manifesting in Srimad Bhagavatam? Was Krishna answering all of your questions and destroying all of your doubts? So you're satisfied with that kind of chanting? That kind of hearing? You're satisfied with that? Then God bless you. Good luck to you. If you're not satisfied, why? Scientifically, why? Why is it like this? I did sadhana for so many years, distributing books 6 days a week. And then I asked Maharaj, I said, Maharaj, how is it possible that after all of that seva and all of these years, how can I be more contaminated now than the day I joined the temple? That was mind-boggling to me. And my Gurudev said, because when you joined, you were so simple-hearted. You just came to surrender to Krishna. You had the book in your hand, you had the address of the temple, you went and knocked on the door or you rang the bell, because you wanted to go and surrender to Krishna, to surrender to God. But what happened? What happened along the way? What happened to your simplicity? Your innocence? What happened to your innocence and your simplicity? And my Gurudev said, because of asatsanga. In the name of religion, you're doing asatsanga. So instead of purifying your consciousness and advancing you, because of asatsanga, you became contaminated, crooked, you gave up your simplicity, and now you're bewildered because you think you're practicing spiritual life, but you're not getting any spiritual results. This is bewildering. How can it be like this? And because no one answered the question, that's even more bewildering. How can I be, after so many years, doing so much sadhana, so much service, so much chanting, how can I be more contaminated than the day I joined? It's shocking, isn't it? But is it not true?
It's true. I ask myself the same question. I ask myself the same question.
Exactly. Because other problem is, spiritual life is internal. It's not external. It's internal. But when you join a religious institution, I made this mistake. I thought that once you join religious institution and you just stay busy doing so much seva, that is spiritual. I made that mistake. And then I was asking Krishna, why is it like this? And Krishna said, because you forgot me. You're not conscious of me. You're just, even Jesus says, it's not by your works alone that you're going to go back to heaven. It's a matter of consciousness, faith, devotion. That's what Krishna is measuring. He's measuring our heart. He's not measuring external execution, mechanical external contribution. He's saying, what is your mood? What is your mentality? What is your faith? What is your consciousness? Krishna says, in all your activities, depend on me. Work under my protection. Be fully conscious of me. Then you'll cross over everything by my grace. But Krishna says, but if out of your false ego, you're not listening to me, you can't hear me, then you're lost. So we are lost because we cannot hear Krishna. So if we can't hear Krishna, how can we properly serve Krishna? Make sense? Any other last point? Everyone's good? Yeah?
I heard Srila Gaur Govind Swami Maharaj many times is speaking like everybody is talking about sadhana, but I am giving the sadhya,
Yeah.
prayojana. Like what is the meaning of this sentence?
It means process of Krishna consciousness is process of purification. Right? It's the means of pure Cetodapanamarjanam. It's process of purifying your consciousness by hearing and chanting about Krishna. This is the means how to become Krishna conscious. But the goal is how to develop love for Krishna. So my Gurudev, many times he said, if you're not crying for Krishna, is it really chanting? Whoever's crying, Prabhupada also says, if the child should be like crying for the mother, right? So Prabhupada said, you're so far away from Krishna, and you're in so much trouble, and you don't even realize it. You think I'm fine, I'm well situated. But Prabhupada said it should be in crying mood, like baby crying for the mother. So my Gurudev said, if you're not crying for Krishna, whoever cries for Krishna, they get Krishna. Whoever really wants Krishna, crying for Krishna, they get Krishna. Krishna runs to that place. Just like if the mother has many children and one of the children is crying, where does the mother run? She runs to the crying child. Right? So my Gurudev said, you see, you're not crying for Krishna, you're crying for Maya. And then someone said, well Gurudev, what happens if you're not crying? What if you can't cry for Krishna? And then many times Gurudev said, you should cry because you can't even cry. What's required, even that you cannot do. You should lament that situation. I'm so much contaminated, hearted like a stone. I'm chanting mechanically, so spaced out. Right? I'm supposed to cry for Krishna. I can't cry for Krishna. Cry because you can't even cry for Krishna. Maharaj, many times he said like that. Then one time, somebody asked Maharaj, Maharaj, you talk about you should cry for Krishna. What if I'm chanting, but I'm not crying for Krishna? And Maharaj says, it means you're not serious. I was like, whoa, that's heavy. I thought he was going to say cry because you can't cry. I was waiting because like say 6 times before that's how he answered that question. So I'm thinking, Maharaj, you're going to say same way, don't cry because you can't cry. It's like encouraging, but also true. So then I thought Maharaj will say cry because you can't cry. And the Maharaj said, it means you're just not serious. It means you're not serious for Krishna. And then recently Gurudev had quote of the day, so I don't know if I can quickly find it. The quote of the day where Gurudev is saying that what kind of chanting is it that you're doing? You're supposed to cry for Krishna. 7? Yeah, so this is Srila Govinda Swami, my Gurudev. He's saying, he was speaking in Chaitanya Charitamrita lecture, Adi Lila, 13:118. This is Bhubaneswar, April 1st, 1994. 1994. I was there at that time, April 1994, in Bhubaneswar. So Maharaj, he said, chanting the holy name means the crying of the soul. If you cannot cry when you chant the holy name, are you really chanting? Crying of the soul. If you're chanting holy name and you're not crying, are you really chanting? And he says, not chanting. This is crying of the soul. Like Srimati Radharani, she's always crying for Krishna. She's always feeling acute pangs of separation from Krishna. Mathura Viraha. Radharani, she crying piteously in her heart and chants, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That's chanting. That's real chanting. That's the sadhya. That you're crying piteously, like Srimati Radharani, in the mood of separation. So many times Prabhupada Gurudev said, where is Krishna? Where are we? We're so much separated from Him. We're in such troubled condition because we could not see Him, we could not hear Him, we're not feeling reciprocation from Krishna. We're not nicely situated. We're in a dangerous position. Uncontrolled mind and senses, Maya is whispering so many things, so many plans, so much sinful desires, material attachments, everything is there. Right? We should be crying to Krishna, Krishna, I'm in a huge trouble. If you don't shower mercy on me and purify me, help me how to surrender to you, how to surrender to holy name, how to surrender to my seva, I'm lost. I'll be lost. Maya will just kill me. This type of chanting. Are we chanting like that? Then Gurudev questioned, you're not really chanting. Not chanting. That's why Gurudev said, instead of crying for Krishna, you're crying for Maya. Why can't I have this? Why can't I do that? Why I have to give this up, and then I have to make this sacrifice, and then, right? We're just crying for all the things that are actually killing us in our spiritual life. Maya's making us cry for the very things which are stopping us from nicely advancing in our spiritual life. That's what we're crying for. That is what Maya has done to us. One time, one Prabhupada disciple, Guru in ISKCON, he said, Maharaj, he raised question, Maharaj, I have a question. And then he started saying, Maharaj, now that we are nicely situated, and Maharaj, nicely situated? You think, Maharaj, you're nicely situated? And he became like really furious, you know, that they don't want to be like confronted. I'm a Maharaj. I'm a Guru. My disciples, followers are here. And this Maharaj is saying, Maharaj, you're just saying from your lips, Maharaj. You're just saying from your lips. You're nicely situated. I remember one time I was in a lecture in San Diego, and many big gurus were there, and the temple president, and the BBT, and everybody, all the big guns were there. The big guns. So Maharaj, my Gurudev, was going there to speak, and I was thinking, oh, this is gonna be like fantastic. I can't wait to see this one. I would have bought tickets to that class. I'm serious. I would have bought tickets. Then somehow I was right in the front, and I was like, you know, this is gonna be fantastic, you know. How Maharaj gonna like preach to all of these people, you know? So the Maharaj, you know, he starts his talking and he says, big GBC, big guru, big temple president, big BBT, scholar. But he went down the line. First sentence of the class, and they're all sitting there like, you know, what is this Maharaj going to say? You know? He's just setting them up. Big this, big that, big scholar, big leader, big everything. And then he says, can you see Krishna? And they were speechless. Are you seeing Krishna? Can you see Krishna? So with all of the position and all of the seva, why Krishna not revealing himself? Krishna says, as you surrender to me, I reveal myself. So the falsuko, not like it. Nobody talks to us like that. Unless you're a sadhu. Unless you're a speaker of the truth, and you don't care about popularity contest, and you don't care about your own position in the institution, and you don't care if people will like you or not like you. My Gurudev used to say, you know, if you're thinking, well, if I speak really strongly, they may not like me, then maybe they won't give me any prasadam. I might starve today if I speak the truth. So I'll just speak like a flattering way, then at least I'll get some prasadam. So you cannot be a preacher like that. So, are we seekers of the truth? And it's not, Prabhupada said, it's not you're curious to understand about the truth. You have to be greedy for the truth. Do you like this class? Yeah? So far so good? Does it make sense? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah? It's like unpalatable though, right?
No.
No? That means you're a seeker of the truth.
One hopes.
Definitely. Because someone hears the truth and their heart and their soul, they're like, finally, somebody. That's how I felt when I met my Gurudev. I was like, finally, I met somebody who will speak the truth to me and not worry about his position and his political position, his institutional position, his reputation, whether people like him or don't like him. And then it was so, finally I met this person, but I had a little fear because I had met people who spoke the truth a little bit, but then somewhere along the line, they stopped, they compromised. And that was very painful. They said, oh, finally I met someone who will speak the truth. And then later they said, oh, you know, because of this and this and that. Then I was like, oh. They caved. They caved in, you know. So I was disappointed. So then when I went from India, I went back to America. Then only fear I had that some time will come that Maharaj will not speak the truth in such a bold, unhesitating, uncompromising way. I had a little fear that it would not continue. So then I called Maharaj in India. The secretary picked up the phone. I said, I'm sorry to disturb Maharaj, but I have to say something. So Maharaj said, Haribol, Haribol. I said, Gurudev, you know, I glorified my Guru. I said, Gurudev, you're the only person I met on this planet really who will speak the unvarnished truth, not caring for anything, no compromise, just strongly, boldly, fearlessly, not hesitating. I said, but I have a little fear that somehow something will happen and then you'll stop doing that. So I said, I was disappointed before, so I don't want to be disappointed, so this is my little fear. And my Gurudev, he said, no, I must speak the truth. I must never compromise the truth, because otherwise, how will I serve Prabhupada? How will I serve Sri Guru and Granga and please them unless I present the truth? So he reassured me. And for all the time that I was with him and ever heard him speaking, he never compromised. Even they were attacking him, blaming him. Then I said, Gurudev, you know, Prabhupada, sometimes you'll say like this, that, you know, maybe we can just a little bit. Right? He said, hey, you just speak the truth. Just speak the tattva. Chalo. He kicked me out, you know. Then I was like, I just crawled out of there. But I got a good realization that he won't even protect himself institutionally, publicly. He'll not compromise the truth when he had every reason to, and we would have totally understood. And he could have done it in a very philosophical way, and he still refused to compromise. Then I was so proud of him. I was so grateful I had such a spiritual master like that. Because that's all I ever really wanted. That was my desire, to meet somebody like that. And I got so much shelter and protection from him. And he knew me perfectly well. And he knew exactly how to speak to me. And he always convinced me. He answered every question I had, whether I raised my hand or not, and destroyed all of the doubts, all of the disturbance, all of the things that we all go through, especially in institution. He answered everything perfectly well. That's my Guru. Then after some time, Maharaj asked me that I want you to try to help the devotees. And whatever I taught you, whatever I showed you, whatever I told to you, you just try your best to share that with other souls, with other devotees. Try to help them. And be bold, be fearless, do not hesitate, and do not compromise. Don't add anything Prabhupada said, don't subtract anything. And those souls who are looking for that, they will come. And everybody else, they'll just run away. When I first started preaching, I used to like literally like chase people down to preach to them. No, I gotta talk to you, I gotta preach to you, It was like too much. It was too aggressive. You know? It's like the doctor has a scalpel and he's like, I gotta operate on you, and he's like chasing you down the hallway in the hospital, it's like it's operation time. Or he shows up in a taxi at your house, it's like I gotta operate on you. So then I realized that Krishna knows what he's gonna make us say. And he knows who wants to hear that, who needs to hear that. So if you are very greedy to really know the truth, Prabhupada says even perfectly anxious to understand it, that I must understand the truth. This is a very nice qualification in order to get mercy from Krishna and his representative, bona fide Guru. But if you're going just out of curiosity, let's just see what he can say, what he knows, not like that. Much more serious inquiry. That has to be there. Otherwise we're not really serious to understand everything. You have to be very greedy and very, very inquisitive to get the mercy and the intelligence to understand it from Krishna, from the Shastra, from the Guru. Otherwise nobody can understand it. Because it's hidden, it's a mystery, it's revealed scripture. So we have to also, Prabhupada said, also you have to be qualified. Speaker has to be qualified, hearer has to be qualified. In order for that transmission, in order for Krishna to convince your soul, that is requirement from both sides. So, thank you very much everyone. I don't want to take too much more of your time. It's been a very interesting meeting with you. And the sun came out, so no thunderbolts came. Thank God. It was very auspicious. When I went to preach in Denmark, we landed, and right when we came out of the airport, it was two huge rainbows, like a double rainbow. So I said, wow, that's fantastic, auspicious start of our preaching. Big, huge double rainbow. So Krishna and Guru, they can inspire us and encourage us and give us faith. Because really to speak the truth in this world is very, very difficult. Mostly everyone will hate you, they'll oppose you, they'll try to tear you down, they'll try to assassinate you. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, all the agents of untruth will get together and will just try to oppose you. And you also see with Srila Prabhupada, everybody, his god brothers, everybody went against him. They didn't understand him. He was a threat. He was a threat to them. They want to compromise. Pure devotee doesn't want to compromise. Prabhupada said, why I'm so successful, if you want to give me some credit, is because I never added anything, I never subtracted anything. I present it as it is. Nothing added, nothing subtracted. As soon as you want to manufacture something and concoct something or change something, you become useless, disconnected from parampara. And Prabhupada said that's the problem with you Western people, is you think you're very intelligent and you want to change everything. You're manufacturing, you're concocting, you're adding, you're subtracting. Therefore, the whole thing becomes asara. It means are useless, powerless. And then when it becomes useless and powerless, then what do? Preaching. Now do yoga, now worship the demigods, now read all different concocted books on everything from psychology to... I talked to one ISKCON psychologist in Russia, and I said, why are you doing this? You know, Prabhupada said that this is Maya. It's all Maya. And she said, oh, I'm just trying to help the people with their mind so they can be peaceful. And I said, is your mind peaceful? Right? Because Krishna says, unless you surrender to me, then I'll purify and control your mind and your senses. So I said, if you're not getting these people to surrender to Krishna, how will their mind be healthy and happy? How will they be purified mind and senses if you cannot inspire them to surrender to Rishikesh? And if you're not surrendered to Krishna, you're not surrendered to Rishikesh, that means your mind and senses are not purified, then how you'll convince them to do it? So then that means your so-called psychology, you're just a cheater, you're just a big cheater. You're not helping these people. You can't even help yourself. And I said, the Prabhupada said, don't do yoga. Don't do psychology. So why you not follow Prabhupada instruction? And you know what she said? Well, my guru said I can do it. That's the problem. That's the root of the problem why it's not working. Prabhupada said, whatever I heard from Krishna, my guru, I'm speaking same thing as it is. Nothing added, nothing subtracted. And Prabhupada, even before he left, he said, look, if you can't expand what I did, at least maintain it. But just do as I did, preach as I preached, don't add anything, don't subtract anything, don't manufacture, concoct anything. Just exactly how I did, exactly how I preached, exactly what I said, just do same thing. Then you'll be successful. And then you see. Okay, thank you everyone, appreciate it. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Govinda Swami, Srila Gurudeva ki, Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki, Ora Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Gurudev. Alright, did you heard everything? You had a nice translator? We're going to have class tonight, 6 o'clock at the ashram. If you want to come, you're welcome to come. If you're scared and want to run away, I also understand. No problem.
Yes, 30 minutes ago.
I didn't know you were a yogi.
Are you coming back?
Looks like Krishna's helping you, huh? Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
I wish you the best.
Thank
Can I give you a garland?
Oh,
It's a nice garland.
Haribol.
You're from Montreal, right?
Near Montreal.
Near Montreal.
Trois-Rivières.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you
Nice
so
to
much,
meet
Maharaj.
you all. Haribol.
Yeah, thank you for the
Krishna.
class. It was really nice.
I hope I didn't scare you guys.
Expecting you to come. I was expecting you to come.
You were?
Yes, I was actually invite you.
No, I've been
invite you.
I've been with my friends. So his son goes to school like where I live. So he's kind of my neighbor. He lives a couple buildings away.
A little scary when the clouds came, yeah? Oh, no.
Hey, all the cool people show up.
I was
here.
looking, it's getting dark.
All the cool people showed up.
Now,
Thank you so much for inviting me.
thank you so much for appearing. And not disappearing with running away.
Yeah, I'll try to come again. Yeah, I really have to go now. I have to go down the temple.
Yes.
But thank you for inviting us. That was really nice.
Nice to see you. Happy. It means, you know, you got some benefit. You're becoming happy.
For sure.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Look forward to see you again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Hari Hari.
David, I really have to go.
Oh, you have to.
Isn't that little road that goes up to Jalongi?
Yes, it is.
Papa,
Yeah, I think I did.
Oh yeah, that would make sense.
yes, I want to end.